To whoever's joining in, whether it's going to be live, no one's live yet, or later watching the replay, just want to welcome you for a moment to this transmission and energetic alignment called Your Goodness is Intact. And given it's just the three of us right now, I just want to invite each one of us to speak our intention into our group field. Why are we here? What's your intention to be here and connect, tune in, and co-create this amplified field? And I can start given this as my invitation, or I fire started this transmission, let's say. So in a way, it is very simple. It is my intention today to transmit and send out the remembrance into our collective field of remembering that our goodness is intact, always and in all ways. That's it. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's simple. And yet, on our human journey, there can be so much doubt and fear and any other emotional range that gets seemingly in the way of that goodness. And maybe later I'll speak a bit more to why I feel it is important to remember our goodness, but for now, this is a good start. And so I'd love to invite you, Sahaja, who is here with me today. She leaves tomorrow. Next time you see me alone on screen, but right now you're here with me. And Emily is also with us on the screen at least. So love to hear both of you. Feel free to share your intention for this transmission.
Yes, so my intention for this transmission is that I find this statement deserves all the presence possible to confirm this truth. It's an absolute truth for me. It's not a desire, it's not a wish, it's not a hope. It's so true that our goodness is intact no matter what. And I just want to amplify this truth with my presence.
Beautiful. Done. Complete already. No, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm here today just because I feel there's such a momentum right now, and it's time to amplify that. It's not time, it's always time. But it feels like yeah, there's just such a great momentum right now to let go of all and any ways that we are still carrying, like any kind of separation consciousness within our field. And I'm just here to amplify the letting go of any and all of that, to truly embody that everything is whole, we are whole, nothing has ever been any other way.
I said thank you, beautiful, and thank you for being here with us. So if you're watching this, the replay most likely by now, then feel free to share your intention in the comments below on Facebook or wherever you're watching this. So I'll just speak for 1 second to, no, 1 second, whatever. I'll just speak to why I call this a transmission and not like a gathering or a call, because in a transmission, I allow myself to be more one directional, meaning I'm the one mostly speaking and allowing the words to speak to your mind and your mental body for you to understand what is happening or what is being transmitted. But most importantly, I believe that there is an energetic transmission, energetic alignment, however you want to call it, attunement that happens when you allow yourself to open and receive it. It's not so much that I, as Stephanie, am sending you something and I'm trying to change you or change your field. It is just creating this space and this field that just naturally has wisdom, divine intelligence, the field, the space around us, again, however you want to call this, knows the truth. And the space is here to invite you to align with that truth. Again, truth is a concept that I don't necessarily believe there's one truth, but I would say though that your goodness is intact is more true than believing that you're unworthy, that you're a failure, that you're incomplete, that you're not whole yet. So in that case, I mean truth. Also know that whoever's on the receiving end of this at any time, that you're the one in charge. You don't have to take on anything that does not resonate. But if this resonates, then allow yourself to open and receive and allow this energy attunement to do the work. When you trust in this divine intelligence, to in this source energy, basically, to come into your being and your field, it just naturally knows what to do. It knows what body parts to move into. It knows what belief systems to resolve, dissolve. Again, just a lot of words that in a way are not needed, but the silence at this point in time might not be that helpful. So I like to speak a little bit to what it means to remember that your goodness is intact. And again, if you're with us, I invite you to close your eyes if that feels good, to get into a comfortable space, to tune in, be with us, eliminate all other distractions, and to just relax your body, to take a few breaths, to allow yourself to fully be here with us. As this transmission works in two ways. It works on a personal level, meaning it is for you to remember or amplify the remembrance that your goodness is intact. And at the same time, this is a collective transmission where your presence, where your focus, where you as a multidimensional being, you being part of this naturally, has an effect in our more collective web. And during this transmission, you might have collective patterns, collective memories come up that are not necessarily yours or that are not necessarily from this lifetime. So this can be a very collective experience and transmission as well. So trust that whatever comes to you and through you is perfect in this moment, and allow yourself to be a part of this in a way that feels good for you. And I want you to imagine that we are seated in a circle or in a circular room. Within the middle, there's bright fire made out of blue flames. And this fire that's burning so bright in the middle, you just know that it has a purifying, clearing, cleansing effect. You know that whatever is put into the fire naturally burns, dissolves, transmutes, and transforms. So that nothing that is untrue can remain or can be held. And only that which is true and which is pure, which is aligned, which is of the highest, quote unquote, of the highest, remains. So then I want you to imagine that all who are connected to this collective web, in whatever way you see that all beings receive this download, that our goodness is intact, that we are already whole and complete. And as this download, as this remembrance enters every being, it is as if it switches on that knowing in every cell of their body, in every inch of their field, in every inch of their whole being. Which naturally means that any doubt, any fear, any resistance, any ideas of unworthiness, of failure, have to come to the surface and they naturally dissolve or released, resolved fully. And I want you to work with this fire that's in the middle, this blue flame, to transmute any patterns, fears, doubts that you see, whether it's within yourself on a personal level or more on a collective level. And I want you to throw that in the fire, place it in the fire so that it can be fully released and resolved. And so allow yourself to be in this relaxed state where you get to see, where naturally memories might pop up, or effortlessly you get to see what humanity has been holding, what lack beliefs, what lies we have been believing about ourselves, that we are unworthy, that we are not whole, that we have to strive to be something more, something else. I want you to release any shame and guilt we have been holding that made us believe that we were not good enough. I invite us to release any and all shame and guilt that we have been holding that tells us that we were wrong, that we were bad. Any imprint you've received, whether it's from your parents, teachers, friends, family, strangers, that made you believe or feel that you were not okay, too much, a bad person, that you were a sinner, that made you doubt yourself, that made you doubt your goodness, that make you feel like a failure, that made you feel like a mess, that made you feel like a crazy person, whatever it is, all of those imprints, can you give it back? Put it into this fire. Let it be transmuted by this blue flame. Can you release any and all shame or guilt you have and are holding around the mistakes that you've made in your life? About the people you have hurt? About the harm that you thought you caused to others, to the planet, to animals? Any burden that you're still carrying that makes you believe at some level, however subtle it is, that you have done wrong, that you were off track, that you made a mistake, that you failed, that you fucked up. Can you give that burden back? Can you release that guilt, that weight, that heaviness in your field, in all of your bodies? And can you feel compassion or unconditional love or forgiveness, whatever flavor is most easy for you to access? Can you feel that forgiveness to yourself, to your younger self? Knowing that whatever you did, whatever you chose, you always tried your best. And then I want you to remember and fully anchor that no matter what you did, no matter what you chose, no matter what you have done, that your goodness always was intact. And so, as memories pass by, you might think of some of the most horrible situations in your life or the most painful situations, whether you actually felt like a victim or where you felt like the perpetrator, where you caused hurt or harm to others, you broke someone's heart, or whatever you did. Can you see through the layers of the appearances of the drama of the play of humanity? And can you see that underneath whatever was happening, your goodness was intact? Can you see that no matter what you have done, no matter what you have chosen in the past, your goodness right now is intact? And can you sense, feel, and know that no matter what you do in the future, no matter what you choose, no matter where you're gonna end up, your goodness will remain intact? Remember that your goodness is not touched by your actions, is not touched by mistakes, by your judgments. Can you see that even in the moments where you believe that you're unworthy, that when you feel like a failure, even in that moment, your goodness is still intact? That your goodness goes beyond your emotions, your thoughts, your human experience. Your goodness is what's already there, always, in all ways. And again, I want you to see for yourself, and I call it like scan your field or scan your body to see if there's any way or any place in your body that does not believe this. Even if it's 10%, 5%. And just notice what thought, what belief, what place cannot take in that goodness, disagrees with it, fights with it, wants to prove it wrong. No, no. Everyone might be a good person, but I'm not because I did this or because this or that. Whatever it is, like look at it, allow it to be seen, shine a light on it, but then be willing to let go of it, just give it back, put it in the fire, and let it resolve. And yes, it can be this simple. I know many people think that healing takes years and things need to be resolved by lots of processing and lots of this and that. Yet it can be as simple as this if you allow it to be this simple. And whether you think this transmission works or not, your goodness is intact, regardless of how you receive this. Whether you feel something or not, can you see and sense that your goodness is intact? Yes, I am repeating myself because there's only one thing I want you to know, anchor in, and that is that your goodness is intact. It is only when you forget your own goodness that you start to give your power away to others, that you start to compare yourself. When you doubt your own goodness, it is as if others have answers, or others are better, or others are this or that. So if you have any desire to be more free, to be sovereign, to be a unified being, again, whatever words you like to use, knowing your goodness is key. To be able to move through this human journey and still have all kinds of experience, but to never ever doubt your goodness. Again, even in moments where you might actually feel like a failure, what if that still would not touch your goodness? And that knowing, that remembrance. I believe that when we know that our goodness is intact, now we can truly meet. Then we can stop playing games of superiority, inferiority, of authority games, whatever it is. No, your goodness is intact. My goodness is intact. Our goodness is intact. Now let's meet. And just sense in that meeting point. Because whether you already see it or realize it, many of our connections have been based in other games that were filled with unworthiness, authority stuff, whatever. I don't even want to go into those details. I want you to sense into the new connection, the new meeting point when all beings remember their goodness. Then there is no doubt in self, not truly. then there is no comparison, no jealousy. Then we just meet in goodness. What is the world you see if you imagine every living being remembering their goodness? There's not one man, not one woman that doubts their inherent goodness. There's not one child that looks in the mirror and doubts their goodness. What if you see everyone waking up to that? Even the ones that feel like a victim, even the ones that are the perpetrators, the ones that caused serious harm to others, yet imagine them waking up though that no matter what has been done, that still their goodness remains. See the ripple of that. Feel the ripple of that. And see that it's not so much something that we have to do or somewhere we have to get, or it's not work, it is remembering. This is already the case. It is recognition of what's already true for all living beings. And don't approach this too much with the mind, because that can go into stories of like, yeah, but some people did this, or a rapist or a killer. Like, forget about the mind, go into your heart and feel the goodness of every living creature. You can extend it to animals, whatever you want. And other words for goodness to me are purity or love. So can you feel the love that runs through all of existence, all of creation, all living beings and creatures? No matter what shows up, no matter the experience, that love, that goodness remains always, in all ways. With that being shared, this transmission is complete. So I invite you to take as long as you need to anchor this in. Anchoring just means, I feel like it's an intention that you set to really anchor it, lock it in, bring it all the way down into your body, into every cell, all the way down through your feet into the earth, if that feels good. And to bring yourself back, to come back to the space that you're in, feel your body, take your time as long as you need. Or just keep on beaming in the remembrance of your own goodness. And I have not much more to say, but I'm definitely open to you, Emily or Sahaja. If there's anything you want to share or add, feel free to do so.
The only thing I would like to add is that in goodness, we are all one. There is just one goodness. There is not the goodness of you, of me, of anybody out there. There is one goodness. So that's the meeting point for all of us as one and the same, always, no matter what, just as you said.
Emily, do you want to share anything or are you good? Your energy is speaking too, by the way, so don't need words unless you want to. Cool. So, if you made it all the way until the end, thank you so much for watching and doing this transmission with us and for moving through this in whatever way you did. You want to say something, Emily? Otherwise, I'm wrapping it up. No, okay, perfect. So, if you don't know it yet, on Wednesday, we are having our anchoring and amplification call, anchoring and amplifying the highest talent for humanity. We had such a beautiful call last Wednesday, so welcome to join us again. Same thing. It's actually on Zoom. There's no live stream on Facebook. We might just pop on a very short time to give you a glimpse of our energy field, but feel free to join us on Zoom. It is at 11 a.m. Amsterdam time, 10 a.m. London, and from there you can work out your own time zone. So thank you so much love to you all. Thank you, Emily and Sahaja, for being here with me.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.